You have probably seen it, almost out of nowhere, a sudden wave of Chinese cars flooding your social media timeline. Cars that look like a Mercedes, a Range Rover, a Porsche even. But then you read the badge and it's a name you've never heard before. And you start wondering, are these cars actually good? Are they safe for Ghana roads? Are they durable? Why are they so much cheaper? And is this even a smart investment? Let's be honest, the car market is changing. China is no longer just producing cheap alternatives. They are producing high performance, luxury level vehicles packed with technology, aggressive design, and features that compete directly with the biggest global brands. So the real question is not, are Chinese cars coming? They are already here. The real question is, are you going to understand this shift or get left behind? In this video, I'm answering your most frequently asked questions about Chinese cars, Ghana roads, maintenance, resale value, and reliability. And I'm also going to show you how, as someone living in Ghana, you can access a luxurious, high-performance vehicle at a significantly lower cost with a smarter import strategies and reduced duties. This is China Auto Hub G8. Let's get into it.
As before, why did you start China Auto Hub GH? And what is the specific gap you are filling in the Ghanaian automobile market?
We decided to launch China Auto Hub GH because of the growing frustration in the vehicle market, especially among the middle class segment. Myself, I belong to the middle class, and if I want to purchase a car here in Ghana, I have basically two options. The first option, if I want to buy a new car, it means I have to, dig deep into the pockets, and it's very, very expensive to just buy it from Europe, Japan, or South Korea. And usually, it's only the upper class who can be able to afford a new car, a new Mercedes, or new Toyota Land Cruiser. So that is the frustration, number one. Number two is the other option, that is you buy the home use second-hand cars, which are usually salvage cars that is around plus or minus 10 years old, that you can buy from US, Canada, Europe, Japan, or South Africa. The problem with this is that it has usually a very high mileage. Also, you don't know the history of the car. What kind of accident that have taken place, you don't know. You start using it and it's unpredictable. Find yourself almost frequently at the mechanic. So those are the two basic reasons why we decided to launch this YouTube channel. And with respect to the gap that we want to fill, one of it is the price gap. Like I said, you have to break the bank to be able to purchase a new vehicle. So, but in China, the cars are pretty well affordable, have good technology. A similar luxury car in China costs like 2 or 3 times less than you buy, for example, in Germany. So that price gap is there that we want to solve. The next is technology. We are now in 2026. China is the world's leading automobile innovator in the world. As they are no longer used to imitate or follow the European brands. Now they set the pace. So when you want to use a vehicle with a lot of technology, the latest AI, all those things, then the Chinese option is better now than the European or US option. And then the third one is the trust issue. If our viewers are watching, sometimes it's difficult to source the right suppliers in China. But what we do at China Auto Hub is that we verify the dealers, we see which ones are trusted, we purchase it from them. We help also in the custom process, the documentation, and ensure that the cars are not overvalued at the port here in Tema, or if it's stuck like that, you decide to let the car go through. So we just take the hassle from you and we just hand over the keys to you. So that is what we do. Yeah.
Let's go through some of the terminologies that have to do with importing cars, buying cars, and funding cars. If someone sees a term or the initials MSRP.
Yeah.
What are they looking at, and how does it relate to affording a Chinese car, for instance?
Okay. Yeah, the MSRP, that is the manufacturer suggested retail price. For example, if a car manufacturer like BYD produces the car and maybe it's $20,000 at the factory, so that amount is the MSRP. So that is their suggested retail price. But of course, there are other expenses that comes along the way also in addition to that.
What of CIF?
CIF is a custom term. It's cost insurance freight. So in this case, the cost becomes the MSRP, the manufacturer suggested retail price. And then if you decide to ship it maybe from China to Ghana, you need to insure the car. And then the F is for the freight. So usually the insurance and the freight goes together. So maybe sometimes it's plus or minus $2,500 insurance and freight. So excluding the purchase price. So that's the CIF, yeah.
Okay. Let's consider import duties. How does the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, calculate duties on these cars? And does the age or engine capacity, otherwise known as CC, change the price significantly?
Yeah, this is a very, very, very important question. I must say it is one of the reasons why we even decided to launch the China Auto Hub G8, because the duty you pay in Ghana depends on the MSRP, that is the manufacturer suggested retail price, and that is what they use to value the car. So, for instance, you buy the car in maybe you purchase type of Mercedes that the MSRP is $60,000, but you buy it for home use for like $15,000. The valuation depends on that 60,000. But in this case, because in China you buy it cheaper, that is 20,000, or just as example, that means the valuation is far cheaper than the car, that's 60,000. With respect to the import duties that you asked, what happens is that when the car comes to the harbor, they calculate various import duties on top of the CIF, that is the cost insurance freight. And then there are various duties. It's a long list, especially here in Ghana. You have the normal duty, depending on the capacity, that is the CC, the engine capacity of the car. So sometimes, depending on the engine capacity, can be from between 5% to 20%. So that is what they use to calculate. And then on top of that, you have other import duties like the VAT, ECOWAS levy, GET-FAN, and before we used to have even the COVID-19 levy, but it has been removed by the current government. So there are a whole lot of levies that comes on top to calculate the final import duty.
Okay, so let's say you see a car that has an MSRP of $15,000 US.
Yeah.
About how much would be placed on top of it, considering the import duties and CIF?
Yeah, so cost is 15,000, and then the insurance and freight from China usually is a bit expensive. So let me even make it $2,500. So that means you are looking at 17,500, and then you do the evaluation. There are some websites that you can put it inside. You put the capacity, and some kind of variables in the website. It calculates for you automatically. But you should look at in total plus or minus 25,000 in total. So yeah, it's the reason why the purchase price is always important. The manufacturers suggest a retail price.
The natural question now would be durability, because for a lot of people in Ghana, when you mention China,
yeah,
it's synonymous to inferior.
Yes.
Right. So are these Chinese cars, given that they have top range technology, as you've already outlined, are these Chinese cars durable enough? They might be in China, but are they durable enough for Ghanaian roads?
Yeah.
Considering the potholes and the state of typical Ghanaian road infrastructure, even in upscale communities like East Legon and the rest. Yeah. Can these cars, over the long haul, maintain their good looks and functionality?
These are some of the reasons why we also want to start this channel, because we want to also inform people, when it comes to the quality of these Chinese cars. The misconception is that a lot of people look 10 years back, 15 years back, 20 years back when China didn't have the capabilities of producing very good cars. Today it's a completely different story. People forget that most of the cars, expensive brands like Mercedes, Volvo, Toyota, most of the parts are sourced from China. So that is where they buy the parts from. But yet that China itself was not that so good years back at producing its own, manufacturing its own cars. But now that they've gone into it fully, the narrative has changed. The past 4 to 5 years, China has been leading quietly on the side with respect to quality, safety, durability. There are some tests that they do. One of them is NCAP, that is New Car Assessment Program. They do it in Europe. You have one is also in Australia, also ANCAP, that is Australian New Car Assessment Program. Most of the cars, in fact, all the cars I've personally looked at for the Chinese, all score 5 stars, and these cars are tested with under extreme weather conditions. A good example is Jetor T2. You see them a lot here in Ghana. There's a reason why for it, because these cars have been tested in Dubai under very extreme, very high temperature conditions, higher than we have here in Ghana, and they passed the test excellent. There are even Chinese cars that when you fell a 2-ton, 2,000 kilos of tree on top of the car, it still doesn't have any scratch. That is the level of quality we are talking about here. So there's a lot to learn, and that is why we are launching this YouTube channel, and with time we'll delve more into details and then explain further, and then go step by step and explain all these quality and safety features and why these Chinese cars today are completely different than the one we used to know. Yeah.
Okay, you've already hinted at it, so
yeah,
let's go deeper into it. Safety. You mentioned the tree falling on the Chinese car and the car keeping its frame and aesthetics. It also speaks to safety, of course. So let's talk about safety standards for these cars. What kind of crash test ratings do the cars have?
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, some of these very credible crash tests are the NCAP. That's the new car assessment program. That's a European organization that does the crash test. Usually they do crash tests if they put an adult inside. Some of them, like a baby in a baby sitting in a chair. So they do all sorts of tests and they score 5 star. 5 star is the highest that you can score when it comes to these safety standards. And all the cars that I've checked myself, all of them score 5 star. So that is the kind of the level of safety that we are talking about. Yeah.
Let's consider if I buy a car directly from China through you.
Yeah.
Where do I get the brake pads, oil filters, or specialized sensors when I need them?
Yeah, that's a good question and also a concern for many. We've spoken to most automobilists and that is a lot of vehicle owners, and that is their concern when it comes to purchasing Chinese vehicles, because they look at the after-sales service, whether there's an issue with the car, would I be able to buy the parts? So what we ourselves want to do at China Auto Hub might not be immediately. Number one, what we do now is to partner with reliable car mechanics. There are organizations like Zonda that sell Chinese cars, also sell a lot of parts. Not too long ago, Japan Motors also started selling parts. They partnered with Geely, one of the big brands in China, and I believe there are also other companies that also do so in Ghana. So what we want to do is just to partner with these companies who can be able to provide these parts. Ourselves too, the second thing, we want to also start selling the basic parts like plugs, filters and brake pads to our viewers or those who just purchase through it. So that is also the option I want to look at.
Okay, can we go further into the Ghanaian mechanic
Yeah.
and a Chinese car?
Yes.
Their relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this person is extremely relevant, and I have to be brutally honest here. Currently, there are very few car mechanics that can properly service Chinese car. I'm not talking about Chinese car, I'm talking about electric vehicles in general. So whether it's coming from China, it's coming from Europe, it's coming from US, Japan, South Korea, it doesn't really matter. The roadside mechanics, as we know them here in Ghana, are not really capable of doing so because they don't have the know-how. You see, when you see a Chinese car like BYD or Geely or Chang'an, they are basically computer on wheels. So you need a lot of knowledge. And the electric cars, they have those voltage in them. You need to know what you are doing. The good part is that whilst it is not advisable to try and face them if you have no knowledge about it. On the other hand, it's easy to learn because, for example, it is said that EV cars have only 20 parts, whilst the IC, the internal combustion engine, what we used to call petrol cars, of course, can be diesel cars if you want to say that also, have like 2,000 parts. So that is even more complex. But although the EV have maybe 20 parts, if you have no knowledge about it, don't try it because you are dealing with electricity. It's deadly, it can be. And also you need to have what we call the diagnostic scanners, where that will plug to the car and immediately a software is able to read the problems. You wouldn't have those diagnostic scanners not only for EV cars, but I believe most of the new cars that have been manufactured in the past 10 years. I live in Holland. In Holland, when I take my car to the mechanic, they use that diagnostic scanners to read the problem. So for the EV car, you need to have that. So we want to partner with the Ghana National Association of Garages or Mechanics, and then they should be able to train some of these mechanics to be able to repair those the EV cars. But for now, there are very few of them that can do so. Yeah.
How long does it take if I order a car directly from China, and let's say through China Auto Hub?
Yeah, when you order a car through China Auto Hub, it's going to take give or take 45 to 50 days. This excluding when it comes to TEMA, to when you have to go through the process of ensuring that you go through the duties, and that is going to take you maybe a week, and then on top of the 45 to 50 days, then you can get your car out of the port here in Ghana.
Why should I use China Auto Hub GH and not order myself?
Yeah, because we verify the dealers, because sometimes you need to be careful out there. We have a network of verified suppliers, and what we do is that even the money that is paid is protected. So some of them goes into an escrow account and all those things. So instead of going to send it to some unscrupulous dealer in China, whereby you can lose your money. For us, we professionally filter those dealers, and we ensure that you have a good supplier. And then we also help you in the custom documentation, and then also ensure that you don't overpay for the evaluation. And then just at home, then we hand over the keys to you. So we take over the stress that you have to go through. Let's put it that way.
Are all Chinese cars EV cars?
No, not all Chinese cars are EV cars. In fact, some of them are just petrol cars. A lot of them these days are hybrid cars. And then the hybrid is you can put in fuel, and then you can also charge the battery at the same time. So that is usually, most people prefer the hybrid ones because there's what they call, if you want to, so a lot of people, they are thinking maybe from Accra to Tamale, I'm using a full electric vehicle car. What happens when I reach somewhere in Techiman, and then the battery it goes off, and then I can't continue. So yeah, so because of that, currently people like the hybrid, and then so that's the most popular ones now.
Okay. Yeah. So we consider it as all that you've said,
Yeah.
if you could put it together and you had, let's say, a minute or two to convince someone in an elevator to do business with China Auto Hub GH and also to even consider Chinese cars in the first place, what would you say?
Yeah, Chinese cars are very good, very durable. Its cost very high with respect to safety. It has a lot of technology in the cars. They are 2 to 3 times cheaper than European cars with the same quality and level of luxury. And also, in terms of importation, because of the manufacturer's suggested retail price is lower than European cars, when you import them into Ghana, you are not going to break the bank for that. So that's it.